So what do I have here? Well, this right here is the Aaliyah classic album, the self-titled album, Aaliyah. Ha ha ha. Dropped in 2001. Now, this is a great album. Produced largely by Timbaland. Songs mostly written by Stephen Garrett. Sung beautifully and executed by Aaliyah. Now, I remember my mom bought this for me when it came out when I was a kid. It's about 6 or 7. I grew up with the heavy presence of Aaliyah. Like I remember Romeo Must Die. I remember Try Again. I remember Are You That Somebody? The videos. I remember always trying to learn dance moves. Just being in awe of one Aaliyah. Right. So it come to my attention that over, I would say, the last couple of years, there's been a concerted effort to kind of destroy her accomplishments because now when they bring her name to this new generation who did not grow up with Aaliyah, who are not really familiar with her music, they talk about the R. Kelly situation. They had her in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary for whatever reason. They had that terrible Aaliyah biopic on Lifetime. So it's just like, where is the fight to get her music back on rotation? Like, where's the fight to get her music on Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff? Where is that fight? We know that Barry Hankerson, who was her manager and also, the owner of her record label, Black Round Records, he's holding her music hostage for whatever reason. So we cannot. The only album that you can listen to is the first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. But as far as One in a Million and the great, great Aaliyah album, which to me, these are her best 2 albums. Her first album definitely has 2 or 3 of my favorite songs by her, but this is my favorite. Um, and I just, for whatever reason, I just don't understand why her legacy is not being appreciated the way it should be. Like, she has great music, she was a great talent, but I feel this new generation, all they're getting to know is a bunch of negative stuff about her. Not really, they're not shedding a good light, which, is largely, due to her estate, I would say, to whoever, is in charge of, making sure her legacy grows. They haven't really been doing a great job of it. Like, there's no, see, you can't even buy her CDs anywhere. You can't stream it online. Like, because I got this when it came out is why I even still got it. So, but in this video, I want to do an Aaliyah self-titled album review to shed some positivity onto her, short career. Even though it was a great career, it was a short career. But we're gonna do a review on this first album, even though we all know most of these songs. But I just think we should, make it positive. So the first track up is "We Need a Resolution," written by Stephen Garrett, produced by Timbaland. We all know this song. Uh, 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 uh. I'm tired of arguing, girl. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Uh, I'm tired of arguing, girl. I'm tired. I'm tired. Uh, tired. I'm tired of arguing, girl. Freaky, 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 freaky. Did you sleep on the wrong side in the bad time and this contagious? Now I want to talk specifically about the instrumental because this shit mesmerized me as a kid. Like this is one of my favorite instrumentals by her. Um, I remember dancing to the song. I remember singing along to it, and I always thought it was dope. Now when I got older, I kind of realized more what the song was about, right? So you notice how she's talking about how she's feeling with this guy. The relationship isn't really going how she's used to, and then you realize when they get to similar parts from the guy perspective. So it's basically just two perspectives from both men, a man and a woman, on what's going on in a relationship and how they're both dealing with it and how they're both handling it. So I like how they played onto each other. This. You need a resolution. We have someone I wanna know. Where were you last night? This is euphoric as shit. I remember being a kid and listening to this shit and just being like, if you had let me know, I would have put on my clothes. Where you go and say it was 4 in the morning and you crept back in the bed. I wanna know what was in your head or what was in my head. Am I supposed to change? I can't sing like Aaliyah, but y'all know. This is. Am I supposed to change? Are you supposed to change? Who should be hurt? I remember that video when she was like on the table and she was like floating up in the air. I always thought that shit was cool. If I ever get to do a video, I'm a pay tribute to that. I always thought that was cool. Like remember she was like she was listening to her own track and then she started like floating. That part of the video was always so cool. We grew up on Aaliyah, people, Aaliyah. All right, so the next song up for review. Whoops. The next song up for review is going to be Loose Rap, written by Steven Garrett, produced by Eric Seats and Rapture. Nah, nah. Again, as a kid, these songs always mesmerized me. So like the beats was always addictive as fuck. But you know, this song I always thought was cool, but I didn't really understand it until I got a little older. You know, the song is basically about fake love, fake friends, fake family, and people who just walk up to you talking about bullshit, talking about you behind your back, and then smiling in your face. Loose rap. So many times I tell you don't come to me. Jealousy. Cause you got envy, don't hate me, babe. Stop behind my back and they see me. Ain't trying to come up and talk to me. Not saying nothing, nothing. I know you can come down, I can come down. You gotta lose one, lose one. I always loved her vocals, like it was always so smooth and just it always grew. Like she would have this out of control beat, but her vocals would be so chill. That's what always kind of made her dope. She created her own singing lane basically because nobody was singing the way she does. Like when Aaliyah song came on, you knew it was her. And it's funny because we grew up calling her Aaliyah because I got a cousin named Aaliyah, but you know her name is pronounced Aaliyah. People not Aaliyah, but you know nobody's gonna attack you for calling her Aaliyah because you know a lot of people thought that's how you pronounce it. But that would be ugly. I know you can come down, I can come down. You know, lose right. You know, Stephen Garrett did a real good job writing these songs. Like he wrote majority of the album. Him and Missy and maybe like two or three other various songwriters. But Stephen Garrett, you know, and Missy, they did the damn thing. And the legacy of Aaliyah continues. We really do need to get a petition like sent to Blackline Records or to Barry Hankerson, like release her music, do an album, put it together another, you know, compilation album, do something, Barry. Woo. All right, so for track 3 is Rock the Boat. This is my shit. Yeah. Now, honest to God, as kids, we used to be at my grandma's house like rock the boat, rock. I did not know it was about sex. Honest to God, like I did not. It wasn't until I grew up and I realized like, oh shit, she's talking about fucking. Like, but you know, to see how beautifully it was written, like you know, if you're an adult, you know it's about sex, but it's so beautifully written that it's not. Basically, it's an innuendo and it's not so in your face like fuck me, fuck me. Excuse my language, but you know, this song was beautifully sung, beautifully written. Again, written by Stephen Garrett, produced by Eric Seats and Rapture. Sung beautifully by Aaliyah. Now, this song is bittersweet for a lot of people because this was the last video she shot, and this is actually the video shoot she was leaving when she was killed when her plane crashed. Um, I remember when this happened, you know, we were at my cousin's house, you know, and her older brother ran in and was like, Aaliyah died, Aaliyah died, Aaliyah died. And we were like, what? And we turned on the news and, you know, they were telling us what happened. And I remember we were crying. And then we switched over to the music stations. And every station just had our music on rotation. And when this video came out, it was sad for a lot of people. Like, my best friend still hasn't seen this video. Like, she kind of refuses to watch it. And I can understand why, you know. Um, but this is, you know, bittersweet for a lot of people. But this is a really beautiful song. I really enjoy this song. And you get my vote. You know how you have those top 10 or top 10, top 5 or top 10 Aaliyah classic songs? I would say this goes in the top 5, like At Your Best, Rock the Boat, um, Hot Like Fire, One in a Million, you know, she has really, really great songs and great music. So if you weren't born around this time, if you were born, you know, after she died, years after she died, definitely, you know, take a look at her albums on YouTube. You can listen to her albums on YouTube. You can't really buy them anywhere or purchase the albums, but you can definitely listen to it. This is part one of the review. I'm gonna come back with part two so we can review more of the groundbreaking album. Another thing about this album, people got to remember, it was way ahead of its time. It was groundbreaking. The instrumentals were different. She set a tone, with this sound. She basically changed the game with this sound. You know how artists always, there's always that one artist that drops a bomb-ass album and it changes the tone of the whole industry. This is what the Aaliyah album did for the industry. Like, it was so far ahead of its time. Like, even when you play these tracks now, they still sound fresh, don't they? Like, it sounds like something you could release today and it would still be hits. Especially songs like We Need a Revolution and, I Care for You and blues rap, stuff like that. So, you know, Aaliyah's legacy, let's help protect it.